Right. Here we go. The Granite. Done a few bits to this. You've probably not seen this one before. This was my little boy's car that I bought him years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and he got bored, as they do, so it's sat and I've not done anything with it, but I thought I'd bring it back to life. That's a CRCU titanium spark plate, that one. So what I've done, I've put a middle diff in it, which I've been wanting to do for ages. So it's got a middle diff, heavier duty, or supposedly heavy duty big bore shocks, because the other ones, from memory, it's years since I've driven one of these, you see, these little 3S's, but the shocks used to bend, shock shafts. My mate's got one and his shock shafts have bent, so I thought I'd get some cheap aluminium ones. And I've replaced the turnbuckles with the solid composite turnbuckles instead of the adjustable ones, so that should help. That should help keep everything pretty solid. New tyres, new body shell, new spoiler on the back, and yeah, it's been ace. I've really enjoyed working on it, to be honest. It's brought back some memories, and it's also reminded me how good they are, these little 3S's. Dead fast. Love the body. Got it off Simon Bryler, SBRC, who I tend to get everything off. But yeah, lovely body shell. Got 500 weight in the shocks, which is, I think, stock. 4S outcast spoiler. Looks wicked, doesn't it? And a middle diff. A total disaster. So the middle diff's got about trying to think what I put in it, maybe 500,000, a bit like the 4S ones have. Didn't know if that was enough. Never really know, do you, until you start running it. Steering's a bit off. There we go. 15 tooth pinion, I think this one is. Everything's stock, motor. It's got the BLX 100 ESC, not the Spectrum one. But it's got the Spectrum motor. My only worry with these is that plastic drive shaft on this grit here. It's really gritty, this area. And I have had it carved straight through the centre shaft before on an Outcast 4S on a Vortex. So I will have to just watch it occasionally. Just check there's no grit going in it. Great truck. Great fun these are. Don't know what the punch is. Doesn't feel too high. You know, if you think about what a slipper clutch is like, that's like basically a very, very stiff diff. I mean, if you've ever tried to twist a slipper clutch with your bare hands, it's quite hard. You know, they're stiff. So this is probably softer than a slipper, even with 500 weight in it. That was heavy on one wheel. And that was heavy on the bumper. I've put a new bumper on it. So I put a brand new bumper on and skid plate. What was that, 3? That was heavy on that one wheel as well. Just check that middle shaft hasn't got any stones in it. So it's in there where it carves. You get a stone in there and it'll carve that plastic. Snapped off my button. It's quite warm. It is quite warm. Yeah, sea's warm. Looks good though, doesn't it? I like that middle diff. Looks the business. From memory, these things are mega tough. I had a Vortex that I sold a friend of mine called Patrick. He bought it for his friend. I had a Vortex that I fully upgraded. And that had everything on it. It had all the Arrma drive shafts that they made for the 3S line instead of these ones, you know, the better ones that were very expensive. It had all the Arrma upgraded aluminium shocks. Yeah, I did a lot to that one. I enjoyed it. It was a great car, really strong. And this one I bought my little boy, who's now about 15. He's not little, and it was brilliant. This never ever had. I'm trying to think if anything ever broke on it before he got bored of it, and I don't think anything ever did. The body was gone, that's why I've replaced it with this blue one. But I don't think he ever really broke anything, and we used to take it to skate parks, and it survived. It's been here once before, a few years ago. So it has experienced this area. So this is its first proper run in years. The bearings were all good. Yeah, it was just spot on. Bit of a service and away you go. As I say, the shocks, I was trying to remember what does go wrong. And on the Vortex, and on my mate's Vortex, he bends the shock shafts. So I thought, I think they were about 30 quid for the 4. I thought I'll give these a whirl off eBay. and they've got them. I'd say they're a good couple of mil thicker on the shock shafts. So that should sort it out, shouldn't it? You'd think. Standard servo. Never change that. But it rips. It absolutely rips. It's got, I thought it would, it's got MT10, an MT10 feel to it. I think it's still got the plastic front and back diffs. You know, where you've got the plastic gears on the diffs. I don't think I ever did anything to them. But I was hoping that the middle diff would take a bit of the shock off those. You know, having the silicon in the middle might take a bit of shock off the front and rear plastic diffs. I'm not lining that up, am I? You may have noticed my white lines. I've got some paint, spray paint, to try and help me line it up. It's absolutely not working. But yeah, sort of MT10 feel. This is the truck that everyone thinks isn't stable and tips over. You know, you need to put wide Typhon arms on it and all that. I mean, do you? I mean, obviously the middle diff's helping control it. But I wouldn't say it's unstable, would you? It's awesome. I think the punch needs going up. I think this is probably on the stock punch out the box. Because again, it was a little boy's RC. Now, when I was his age, I'd have been in heaven if I'd have got one of these, but his interest lasted about 3 weeks. I remember playing with my Tamiya Blackfoot and thinking it was the best thing in the world, and it went about 3 miles an hour. And I bought him this, thinking, my God, he'll love this, you know. 50 mile an hour toy. Funny, isn't it? Computer games have got a lot to answer for. But yeah, definitely don't think it needs widening. Because like stink, doesn't it? Sorry, I was just looking at my controller there. These plastic chassis are great, aren't they? They can really take some abuse. I think we may have done the battery. Let's have a look. Oh. If I can remember what LVC looks like. Red flashing light, I think that might be it. So, any damage? Shocks haven't blown. No silicone coming out of them, that's what I'm looking for, just in case they've gone. It didn't look like they had the best seal at the top. Now that one's got all crap all over it, but I remember I spilt a load of fluid when I did that one that I couldn't really clean off very well. So I'm not worried about that one being dirty, because I think that's just the spill from when I filled them. They came with like a dreg in, so I had to put oil in. But no, they all feel fine. Shocks feel fine. I don't know if you can see it, it's quite a thick shaft, look. It's as thick as my 1/8 scale job is. That diff housing's hot, which is good. That's taking a bit of heat out the motor. No stones in there, so that hasn't been gouged. But yeah, I think we've just reached LVC. Servo saver's a bit squidgy, but again, it's not a bad thing, is it? Don't really want to be replacing the servos. It's a pain in the arse, isn't it, this, with all this inside, I always find. Although maybe it's not, from memory, can't remember. It's probably just attaching this is a bit of a drag in it, trying to attach the Ackerman or the steering rack. You can do it from underneath, can't you, I think? Seem to remember you could tighten the servo saver from underneath as well. But yeah, that was brilliant. That was great. Just need a few batteries. I think this is a 5000 milliamp 3S, so you forget how quickly you burn through those 3S batteries. But yeah, that was wicked. Hope you enjoyed it. A little bit of a run out, a bit of something different. But yeah, for the money, and thinking what do you enjoy doing? Going fast, doing somersaults. That does it, doesn't it? It goes fast, it does somersaults, it's strong, they're cheap, the parts are everywhere. You know, I think there'll be a new one coming out. I've just seen the video on Arrma RC about the new 3S chassis with a built-in middle diff. I think they've just done a Senton. I think there's the picture shows there's like a sneak picture, and they've kind of not greyed out the cars either side, one of which is a Vortex, the other one's I think is a Typhon. So the Senton's been launched, which is a short course truck. That's this car basically, but the new version with a middle diff as standard. It's got some sort of integral ESC and receiver built in, so it's like one thing instead of having a separate receiver and a separate ESC. Who cares? Does that matter? This, you know, I don't think it matters, does it, to most people? I've never changed this one. Spectrum controllers are really, really good, so I think it'll be brilliant. So I'd probably buy one. I'd probably get a Granite. Of all of them, the Granite I've really enjoyed. And a lot of people say maybe the Big Rock or whatever. I've never actually driven a Big Rock, so I'll reserve opinion on that. But out of the Vortex and the Granite, and having them at the same time, because I had a Vortex and a Granite, because my little boy had this, of course, and I had the Vortex, so I could. This just is more fun. It's just more fun, you know. It just does spins, it does somersaults, it does flips. The Vortex struggles to do that unless you start messing around with it. So you may as well just buy this, because it does all that already. For me, I mean, if you want to drive around pavements dead fast, then the Vortex is phenomenal. But for what I enjoy doing, this is ace. Anyway, that was boring. Got some nice Hokers look today. Hokers. I don't run or anything like that, but I just like trainers. And it's a bit of a grey day. Coming up 6 weeks till Christmas. So, yeah, amazing. See you soon. Try and turn this off.